This is Citrus, coach of the Miami Palafins, and I'd like to welcome you to the first ever installment of the FPU Pokémon Draft League. In this draft league, 14 coaches took turns picking teams of 10 to 12 Pokémon that fit within a 120-point budget, with Pokémon being assigned their point values based on how strong they are in this specific format. This draft league will be played in the VGC format, meaning that we'll be bringing 6 Pokémon to each best of 3 match, and pick 4 of those Pokémon to fight in each individual double battle. There are also some clauses in place, such as having no repeated items, no Pokemon with the same National Dex number can be brought to the same match, and no one-hit KO moves are allowed. There's also an interesting twist in this draft league, where we're using the whole National Dex as of Generation 9, other than some Pokemon that are too strong, and the new Mega Evolutions from Legends Z-A are allowed. With that said, let's get into the roster for the Miami Palafins. Alright. So I was randomly chosen to be the first coach in the draft order, so I had the ability to choose any single Pokemon on the board, guaranteed. As the coach of the Miami Palafins, you can probably guess exactly what I picked. Yup, that's right, Palafin. Nope, it's Mega Greninja. With this 20-point pick, I get access to both the base form of Greninja without a Mega Stone, as well as its newly released Mega Evolution. As a refresher, Mega Greninja keeps its Water Dark type, and it gets buffs to all of its base stats other than HP, mostly focusing on allowing it to be a really fast and versatile attacker. However, because of how the new Megas are implemented into Pokemon Showdown, Greninja will be locked into having Torrent as its ability when it Mega Evolves. Even with that restriction, I think Mega Greninja has a lot of potential in a VGC draft environment due to its high offensive stats, really high speed, and pretty solid move pool. Because the draft was done in a snake format, I was able to pick 2 Pokemon in a row for all my remaining turns except for my last turn, so I'll present all those Mons in pairs. Picks 2 and 3 were Ogerpon Cornerstone Mask and Sandy Shocks for 18 and 12 points respectively. Both of them have high damage output while still having nice support moves such as Ogerpon's Follow Me and Knock Off for Disruption, and Sandy Shock's setting up Screen. The Cornerstone Mask form of Ogerpon cannot be knocked out in one hit thanks to Sturdy, which synergizes well with Follow Me, and it also means I don't have to run it particularly bulky all the time, while Sandy Shock's Photosynthesis ability allows me to boost pretty much any of its stats that I want when it's in the sun or has a booster energy, which gives me a lot of customizability on it. In rounds 4 and 5, I was looking into an Intimidate Mon and a bulky Fire type. I initially wanted to condense those two into the same pick by getting Paldean Tauros Blazebreed or the evil and intimidating Incineroar, but I decided to grab a classic Intimidate user alongside one of my favorite picks for early Gen 9 VGC, Hitmontop and Skeledirge. Hitmontop having Fake Out plus Intimidate alongside several priority moves makes it very disruptive, while Skeledirge's Unaware ability and Torch Song's signature move allow it to brute force some tough matchups. I think it goes without saying that both of these are respectable picks that fit on a lot of teams thanks to their staying power, utility, and damage output, especially when they were 10 points and 12 points respectively. Next up, I decided to pick up 2 more supportive Mons for round 6 and the number after 6. I was planning to get Corviknight as my team's dedicated Steel type, but that just got sniped early on in round 6, so I went with the Steel-type Mon that I knew was about to get grabbed if I didn't take it. So my round 6 pick was Meowstic, and my round 7 pick was Tinkaton for 10 and 11 points respectively. That's right, 2 more Fake-Out users right after I just grabbed Hitmontop, but it's a good move and both of them are nice for other reasons, such as Meowstic having Prankster with a bunch of utility moves, and Tinkaton being a second knockoff user for my team. Now for what I would call 2 sleeper picks in slots 8 and 9, we have the 3-point Poltergeist and the 11-point Silvally. Poltergeist is mostly there to be a second redirector with Rage Powder, a Cleric with its Hospitality ability, and an Eviolite user so that I don't have to worry as much about item clause when it's on the team. Silvally, on the other hand, is supposed to be somewhat of a wild card thanks to having even stats across the board, solid coverage, and a few utility moves on top of its RKS system, allowing me to patch up some type matchup vulnerabilities in a pinch, while also not needing an item that's in high demand. Moving on to the next picks, I had a decision to make. Either I pick a 13-point Mon and end the draft with a team of 10, or I split those points into 3 picks. I personally prefer having a full team just so that my opponents have to prep for more mons while I get a couple more options into certain fights, so that's exactly what I did. Picks number 10 and 11 were Avalugg for 3 points and Espathra for 8 points. Avalugg might just end up being the team's dinner table, but I think there are some matchups where it'll be able to take some hits and provide support with wide guard, or smack something with body press coming off that base 184 defense. Meanwhile, Espathra has 3 good abilities for VGC Draft, as well as its signature move Lumina Crash to chip down certain enemies and make them easier to KO with special moves. Unfortunately, since this is a no-terra league, it probably won't be a crazy threat, but I think it'll end up coming to a handful of games. And now for the last pick, I only had 2 points remaining, but low point threats like Charjabug and Fletchender had been taken a while ago, so I picked up a funny Pokemon that also passively amplifies damage, and his name is Stonjourner. This thing also has high defense and it can use wide guard, so it can be productive while passively boosting its allies' moves thanks to its Power Spot ability. So yeah, this is the full roster of the Miami Palafins for the FPU Draft League Season 1. I'll be uploading all the matches that I'm able to record at the end of every week of the 8-week season to the best of my ability. I wish all the coaches good luck with their matches, and I hope you guys enjoyed the Draft League content. Citrus, coach of the Miami Palafins, signing off.